It was an impulse decision, a careless purchase at an estate sale on the outskirts of town. The house had been abandoned for decades, its last owner vanishing without a trace. The mirror was the only thing that seemed untouched by time, its silver frame intricate and flawless, the glass unnervingly perfect. It was beautiful, eerie, and something about it called to me. The moment I hung it in my bedroom, things changed. At first, the disturbances were small, a flicker of movement in my peripheral vision, gone the moment I turned to look. A shift in the reflection, subtle but wrong, as if the room behind me had changed slightly when I wasn't looking. I blamed it on poor lighting, fatigue, the tricks of an overactive imagination. But the changes grew more noticeable. Objects on my dresser would be slightly out of place. My closet door would be open in the morning when I knew I had closed it the night before. Once, I could have sworn I saw my reflection move just a second too late. I convinced myself it was paranoia. I was just tired. Then, the whispers started. They were soft at first, like distant voices carried through walls. A murmur beneath the hum of my bedside fan, indistinct words melting into the darkness. But the longer I listened, the clearer they became. A voice, low, insidious, whispering my name. I covered the mirror with an old bedsheet, but it didn't help. The whispers continued, growing in confidence, in cruelty. They spoke of things I had never told another soul, regrets, fears, childhood nightmares long buried. "You did this," it hissed. "You brought me back." Something was in the mirror, and it knew me. I stopped sleeping. Every night I sat up in bed, watching the covered mirror, waiting for the next sign that I wasn't alone. My body ached with exhaustion, my nerves frayed to the point of breaking. When I dared to glance at my reflection, I saw things I couldn't explain. Once, I caught my reflection smiling. I wasn't. Another time, I reached for my phone, only to see my mirrored hand stay still, fingers twitching as if resisting the urge to move. Panic consumed me. I had to get rid of it. Desperate for answers, I started researching the estate sale where I'd bought the mirror. What I found chilled me to the bone. The house's last owner had vanished in the 1920s, leaving behind only cryptic diary entries about a man in the glass watching him. Before that, tenants had left suddenly, abandoning their belongings without explanation. A pattern emerged. The mirror had always remained in the house, always left behind. I had taken it. I had brought it somewhere new, and whatever was inside it was awake now. I yanked the mirror off the wall, dragged it down to the basement, and threw an old sheet over it. I wanted to smash it, but some primal fear stopped me. Instead, I locked the basement door and vowed never to go near it again. That night, I slept for the first time in weeks, but peace was fleeting. I woke to the sound of glass shattering. Heart pounding, I ran to the basement. The door was ajar. The sheet lay in a crumpled heap on the floor. The mirror, untouched, stood against the wall. But the glass was no longer whole. A jagged crack split the surface, and from within, something moved. I watched, frozen, as my reflection stepped forward. It didn't just mimic me anymore. It acted on its own. It raised a hand, and my own stayed frozen at my side. It smiled, a twisted, knowing grin. Then, with a sickening lurch, it fell through. The world spun. My vision blurred. I felt my body stretch, twist, and fall. And then, silence. I opened my eyes and found myself inside the mirror. The walls shimmered like liquid silver, reflecting an endless corridor of repeating images. I turned and saw my own horrified expression staring back at me from infinite angles, each one slightly different. Some grinning, some weeping, others watching. A figure emerged, a gaunt, hollow-eyed version of me, Its lips cracked into a sinister smile. "You don't belong here yet," it murmured. "But soon, you will." Desperate, I ran. The mirrored corridor warped and shifted around me, endless doorways leading nowhere, each reflection trapping another version of myself. My breath came in ragged gasps as I searched for an escape. Then I saw it. A single fracture in the mirrored abyss. A hairline crack, faint but real. I lunged toward it, fingers brushing the surface as the void tried to pull me back. Light exploded. Pain. And then I gasped, air rushing into my lungs. I was back. In my room. The mirror was gone, shattered into 1,000 pieces on the floor. And my reflection was mine again. For now. But in the corner of my vision, a glint of silver caught my eye. A single shard of the mirror, resting beneath my bed, its surface rippling ever so slightly. That night I dreamed of reflections that didn't belong to me. The next morning I avoided my bathroom mirror, my phone screen, storefront windows, anything reflective. Because deep down, I knew. It was still there, still watching, and waiting. Thank you for reading The Mirror That Watched Me, A Haunting Beyond Reflection. I hope this story brought chills and captivated your imagination. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to No Sleep Tales on YouTube for more spine-tingling narratives. Share your thoughts, and let me know what themes or elements you'd like to see in future stories.